tell you that supporters of the Border Patrol say the system is broken and understaffed. More than 350,000 undocumented immigrants were detained coming into the United States from Mexico just last year. Most of them end up in front of one of the country's 231 immigration judges. Those judges are only able to see an average of 1,200 cases a year, which has led to a serious backlog in processing and clearing undocumented immigrants. Joining me from Miami is Michael Wilds. He is an immigration attorney and a former federal prosecutor. Michael, appreciate it. Thank you for your time. So we are talking about a serious backlog here in processing these cases with, 231 immigration judges handling everything from asylum requests, right, to deportations. How would you describe the stress this system is under?
It's an explosive circumstance. I'm formerly a federal prosecutor. The studio that I'm sitting in Miami, I have an office. We have 3 offices in the United States, and all we do is immigration law. All of my colleagues know how overwhelmed our courts are. I mean, a few years ago, they had 179 immigration judges. With our president having hit the world's record of deporting several million people, it's important for us to recognize and understand that this is a daunting task. And for judges who are putting people into the system that are going to languish on for years, it's just a can that they're kicking down the alley, and we don't have the resources.
You know what? Let me follow up on that. Can I follow up on that point there? How long does it take, and maybe you just hinted at it just a moment ago, how long does it take you, your office, to get a deportation case, for example, or an asylum case from start to finish through the system today?
It can be weeks, or it can be a half a decade. I mean, you have no idea how these things, can languish on. We have, the president, to his credit, put out prosecutorial discretion and DACA, relief for young children. But, sometimes they put people into the system inadvertently, only to take them out of the system at a later time, only to have wasted thousands upon thousands of dollars, torn families apart, and putting people through needless removal proceedings. There are now doctrines in the law, in the system, that will prevent people that aren't violent offenders from having to go through the system, but it takes the government a generation to figure out that they shouldn't have gone through it, while unscrupulous lawyers, notarios, and those others start taking advantage and preying on the system.
So, Michael,
I have to tell you, I teach...
Yeah, go ahead. No, go ahead.
I teach immigration law in a law school. My father started our practice. I'm a second-generation immigration lawyer, so it's about 58 years of what we do. He represented John Lennon from the Beatles back in the day. Yeah. It is an undaunting task for this country, when it has such a troubled economy, to be trying to remove people that may be conscientiously objecting to the circumstances in their home country, or unable to go back there to be treated as common felons and put in detention facilities.
All right, Michael, let me get one more in here. Do you agree with people like Ariana Huffington and others who call the Obama administration's deportation machine, and I know that's a phrase that you actually use, inhumane?
It's an abomination. I mean, I have to say, I am a Democrat. I'm a former mayor myself in New Jersey, where I reside. I can't tell you how disappointed I am, because with all the rhetoric and with all the little gestures, this president has made it worse, not better. This deafening silence in Washington is an excuse up to a certain point. I'm not saying from a political perspective he owes the Latino community or other constituencies, but this country, a diamond in the rough, the greatest experiment in democracy, built on the backs of immigrants, is not righting our ship. We're taking foreign students, we're educating them, and then we're stopping them from getting professional work visas, the H-1s. We're now going to take conscientious objectors, or people on principle, like we stand as the police officer of the world, and we're now going to take these people and put them with common thieves. It's out of character. It's out of character for this president. It's out of character for this nation.
Wow. Well said. Michael Wilds, he is an immigration attorney and a former federal prosecutor, joining us from Miami. Strong stuff. Michael, appreciate it. Thank you for your time.